even neuroscientists have said recently that there is nothing that is not a figment of our imagination. So our consciousness determines our reality.
This is Rudkowski of WeAreChange.org, and I'm joined by Allyson and Alex Gray, amazing spiritual visionary artists, and we're here at the studio, a very beautiful place here in upstate New York. And before getting into everything, many people use the words consciousness and spirituality. I feel like it's being thrown out all the time, but I also find that it's very personal for each person. Every person has a different meaning and understanding of spirituality and consciousness. So starting off, what's kind of your definition of consciousness and spirituality? What does it mean to you? What is it to you?
Well, consciousness, it is something that is intangible, but we all know that we're conscious. I look at your eyes and I see that you're aware. You're seeing me, I'm seeing you. We take ourselves to be conscious. When we are unconscious, we're not perceiving anything. When we are dream conscious, we're having an altered state. We've entered a fantasy world that we've created in our minds. So all of us have had these experiences. In deep sleep, no consciousness. In dreams, dream consciousness. And in normal waking consciousness, So it is the function of our minds, and it allows us the sense of self. In the flow of consciousness, we understand that we are the center of that consciousness. And so with this center of consciousness, if you turn within, like people in the great religions and spiritual traditions have done for millennia, and meditate, they discover a world of spirituality, an inner world where they're in contact with the creative force, the creative source. It's an inner world that you can contact. And so in that way, spirituality is any of these means that we are able to contact this inner world of contact with primordial energies and a sense of connectedness and meaning to the planet, to other people, to the source of love. It's really about infinite love and that power in our lives. That is our anchor. To us, love is a cosmic force, and it's the ultimate strong force of the cosmos. And I believe it's why the cosmos has been manifested. So as a conscious being, even neuroscientists have said recently that there is nothing that is not a figment of our imagination. So our consciousness determines our reality.
When I was on a DMT trip, it was pretty much told to me the same way like you described it, which is very weird. Allyson, do you have your own kind of understanding or description of consciousness or spirituality?
Ask you, what happened on that DMT trip? Honestly, so you had an experience of consciousness.
Mm-hmm. I had an out of body experience that ultimately was a female voice that came to me after I let go and explained to me very similar things like you were telling me, that we're all just energies, we're all sources, love is the ultimate answer to all the problems. But it was a specific journey, because I remember going into that state first, and it was like I was in a Windows 95 screensaver kind of holographic thing, and I was like, is this it? Is this all that's going to happen when I die? And I was kind of disappointed at first. And then I let that go, and I was like, well, let me just accept this for what it is, and let me just enjoy it and experience it and stop doubting it and stop questioning it. And as soon as I did that, a whole bunch of visions came, and a whole bunch of warm kind of reddish pink light came to me, and then a woman's voice came to me and pretty much described what you were just telling me, which is surreal. And it seems like psychedelics are a very important part of understanding that there's more than just this physical realm that we feel and see, that there's more than just what's in kind of inside of our own bodies and physical beings. It also plays a very important role to people personally and what they see and what they envision. But also, historically speaking, if you really study history, you could also see how psychedelics have also impacted history in a major way as well. There's many of them out there. There's mushrooms, there's acid, there's DMT, there's peyote, there's ayahuasca, all these different psychedelics. But from your studies and from your experiences, which psychedelic do you think is one of the most important ones, or the most one that impacted society the most?
Well, I think that that would probably be cannabis. And cannabis is probably one of the oldest sacraments, and certainly was described in Chinese kind of medicinals from thousands and thousands of years ago. So it's been cultivated as a plant for humanity for thousands of years. It's been the longest probably known sacrament that's been in continual use, and so and it's at this point ubiquitous throughout the planet. It's still illegal, but it's available everywhere, and so.
And there's no toxic dose. This is what they're finding. The Israelis are the first experimenters with medical cannabis, and they're finding that there is no toxic dose and that they're using it in concentrations in medicines for intramuscular injection for, Parkinson's and things like this. They're testing it. So it's still in research, and there's some great research going on. But it's an amazing plant, I agree.
Yeah, so it is a medicine. It's the most functional plant. You can make plastic out of it. You can make paper out of it. You can make hemp fibers and all kinds of things. So it's an aphrodisiac. It's a visionary thing.
The hieroglyphics in the pyramids portray it, and you can go there and see them. It's cannabis, and they're showing it.
Yeah.
They used it. They had it.
Yeah, so it's been Egyptian, and of course Hinduism, and the ganja-smoking Babas come out of the hills at the Kumbh Mela every dozen years or so. And so this is like an ancient sacrament that is still in use by many religions, ancient religions, mostly Hindu and stuff like that, but the Rastafari claim the same thing. So there's every reason to say that there should be a religious right to smoke cannabis as well, because it's been humanity's longest, oldest friend as far as plants go.
As we see demonstrated behind us with George Washington and his pipe, perfectly just symbolically right behind us at this right time as we were talking about it.
George,
Yeah.
Well, be revolutionary.
Oh, is that right? Alex was calling it George Washington hemp farmer.
Yeah.
I thought he was painting it because he wanted to just be able to show people George Washington hemp farmer. He's showing you. He's saying, look, see, it's good. He's holding his pipe out to you.
Well, there were numerous founding fathers who were hemp farmers. There was mandated. It was the first crop practically that was grown in America. And because they needed to make rope and sails and hemp fabrics and all kinds of things like that. But there was also smoking going on. And so George Washington himself said, save the Indian hemp seed and sow it everywhere, And so there was several of the founding fathers who smoked it and said so, in terms of that it was inspirational in the founding documents. So cannabis has had a long tradition, even in America. It was available into the 20th century in many major cities, and then the Turkish smoking parlors were shut down. And the Mexican, basically it's been a class war. The drug war has been a class war. And so people are waking up to that now. And it's a new civil rights issue that entheogens should be a civil rights.
And it's becoming less of a taboo subject where people are more open to talk about marijuana, to talk about the medical benefits of something like DMT or acid that are helping people deal with post-traumatic stress disorder. And I think that kind of represents the quickening that's also happening, that's helping people be awakened to what's really out there and not just what we're bombarded with every day.
From that understanding, because it's not a case of seeking enlightenment. We are enlightened. That's what we are. We are all that is, has been, and ever can be. But what the awakening path is removing all those layers of programming and perception control that are keeping us from that level of ourselves, which is enlightened.